Hello, welcome to the Hungarian Grand Prix. Silver, season 10, nope, season 11, round number 10, and it's the first Grand Prix that was ever hosted behind the Iron Curtain. I think. That's what I've heard somewhere, so we'll go with that one, shall we? But anyway, nonetheless, that is a scene for the Hungarian Grand Prix. I am freezing my tootsies off, so hopefully we can get going in just a jiffy as well. But before we do get going in a jiffy, I, of course, have got some milestones to talk about, which we'll talk about before we get into the race itself. But before we do, actually, it's a good opportunity to have a look at the drivers and constructors standards at a bit quick. And a driver making their 40th Grand Prix start tonight leads the Drivers' Championship, which is Tori. Then 11 points separates Tori and the man who's making their 25th Grand Prix start tonight of KD. Gap is 11 points between the two. Have I put the standards up? Uh-oh. No, I haven't. Oh goodness me, that is shocking. Right, let me lean forward. There we go, and let me then stand back. Fantastic. Tori leads the way. KD in second position. Potts 31 points adrift of the championship leader Tori at the moment, which is which. Oh, we're only on round 10, goodness sake, sure. Then we got plenty of time, haven't we? Reflections, 48 points adrift, and I think that it might be a bit of a steep curve for Reflections there, but still, never say never, especially the pace that Reflections showed in the British Grand Prix a few weeks ago. Remember, Reflection dominated that race. What, dominated? Yeah, he was superb, wasn't he? Vestier in fifth finish had 184 points. Great season so far for Vestier. Now, of course, Vestier disagreed with me about this being his best season last week. There, I must admit, I was quite surprised by. It. But in terms of stats, because I live off stats, because I'm a born so and so, and I'm a big old nerd. In terms of stats, it's definitely Vestier's best season. Knowlesy on 60 points in his debut in silver. Jenner making his 69th, nice, Grand Prix start tonight, then currently on 52 points. Riley on 51 with Camera, of course, not racing tonight. Unfortunately, had to pull out late because he is not very well. So hopefully Camera Racer is feeling better. And hopefully we're giving him I'll give him a couple of laughs tonight as well. 10th position is Hungry Stars, and then with Smithy on 27 points. I'm not sure. I think Smithy should be in it momentarily, as I think someone broke down and he might have had to go on to fetch him there. 12th position is Kiki making his 70th Grand Prix start tonight, I believe. Actually, I got to double check that. If Kiki starts on 22 points, 19 for Dynamo, Dan Diva Croc on 14, 7 for Mumford, 2 for Farf, 1 for the real thing. Nigel Sloth and Chlorine Pilot are yet to get off the scoreboard. In the Constructors' Championship, then, it is very close between the Alpine and the Haas team. 167 points then for Alpine, 161 points for the Haas team. McLaren falling a bit short at the moment. There is Mumford's it's had one lap pace certainly, but it's really struggled in the Grand Prix, unfortunately, for Mumford. Ferrari on 92.75 points adrift so far of the top three. No, that's all the points have been scored by Reflection so far, and that seems to be the case going forward as well. As Chlorine Pilot doesn't look like they're racing tonight, as Jeremy James looks to be in the Ferrari seat. Racing Bulls on 86 points, 82 points for the Aston Martin, 53 for Mercedes, 51 for the Williams team. Kick Sauber on 30 points, and Red Bull Racing, unfortunately, is on 19 points so far. Then, right, let me get rid of that screen because I think I am just about ready to go. I am indeed. Then, as we've got Lee from Bronze driving tonight as well. Anyway, let me double check my stats. KD making their 25th Grand Prix start tonight. Happy 25th, a happy quarter of a century. Also, 69th Grand Prix start tonight for Jinner. Nice, as I mentioned there. 40th Grand Prix start tonight for Tori. And 60th Grand Prix start tonight for Kiki if they are racing tonight as well. 15th start for the Real Fig. And 165th Grand Prix start for Farf as well. Fantastic stuff indeed. Then there's some big numbers in silver. Fantastic. Right, then let me get me old scrapbook back up. So Jeremy James then, of course, making their debut in silver tonight. Of course, Jeremy James has already made their debut well, not last night, not before. So Jeremy James certainly really getting a lot of racing under his belt in the last couple of days or so. Let go gold, silver, I should say. And I've got an error. Is my microphone been muted? No, even worse. The What do you mean I got permission to upload the thumbnail? Bloody ridiculous. Right. Now I'm unhappy. Why have I not got permission? Let me click on me bow. Uh-oh. No, I better not do that, actually. What's that? Marathon stream overlays? Cracking stuff. Alright, I'll worry about that later on then. If someone can remind me to do the thumbnail, that'd be fantastic. Having said that, I'll probably forget, and I will blame you guys because you didn't remind me. A couple of minutes into this qualifying session, well, a couple of seconds into this qualifying session, actually. Let me get me let get us all the overlays up and all that kind of stuff. Nosy Paul. Oh, Nosy for Paul. Goodness me, I thought that Stars was saying something there about Nosy's yes. Anyway, carrying on then, and also Nosy for Plum Last then. I do love some plum. I had a plum today, actually. Ugh, disgusting. I'm not a fan of the old plums. I'm not a fan of the old fruit personally, but there you go. I'm trying to be good and all that kind of stuff, but it ain't going well because then I decided to crack open a lovely. I had these crinkled crisps from Walker's. I absolutely love them. I don't know what it is about crinkled crisps and normal ready sorted crisps, but for some reason they were absolutely delightful. Really was indeed. So, dinner out on circuit then. We did have a lot of, after last night's event, I know that there is some investigations going on between the two championship protagonists of Medi and of Flippy as well then, as it was getting pretty tight between the two championship protagonists last night. Of course, one of the things that was discussed as well last night was about ghosting as well, of course. I absolutely wholeheartedly agree with Mehdi, because Mehdi did mention it in the interview then, that basically what's the point of getting pole positioning if drivers are just going to go through you, especially on a circuit like this, and I absolutely agree with him. However, what can the admins do? What can the stewards do? Turn ghosting off doesn't seem to help it whatsoever, which is really annoying then. Of course, someone mentioned about crossplay, I think, in the paddock chat. And I think I also been spying as well. And there's also mention about maybe taking off formation lap, which might be trialed on Sunday in the event league, potentially. But my goodness me, basically the fundamentals is that EA needs to fix their game, really, don't they? To be honest, goodness gracious me. No, I do understand that, because on a circuit like this, then pole position is quite critical, and if drivers can just drive through you, then what is the point, isn't it? There, but that is the game's fault. I don't really know what the head honchos can do. Is we've got a problem somewhere. Is someone's had an off. And it is Vessier having it off in the pink machine then. So, of course, the special livery racing bulls and having a couple of problems there for Vessier. Recovering now, but I don't think, was he on a quick lap? He might have been on a quick lap, as Ginner's almost out of deployment now, as you can see. I don't think he'll be super clipping. Which was a major factor in the Australian Grand Prix, especially in qualifying. That's one thing that really irks me, to be honest, about the new rules, is that drivers can't go flat out for one lap. Then that is a poor show indeed. A 1:16.223 for Jenner to set us on our qualifying journey, but that has been quickly eclipsed by KD, the man who's second in the Drivers' Championship at the moment, as we go down into turn one. Yeah, I'm all for the 50-50 split and all that kind of stuff in real F1. But if you can't if qualifying means that you have to lift and coast on what's meant to be the quickest part of the weekend, then I think that's a poor showing. Hopefully they're going to do something about it. There was mentioned about adapting the rules after the Chinese Grand Prix this weekend, ready for the Japanese Grand Prix potentially. Or I would probably say leave it actually until that month-long break then between Japan and the next race, which was meant to be, of course, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. I think has been delayed by the sounds of it. According to, I think it was leaked by Isaac Hadjar, was there? Someone filmed him and Kimi Antonelli talking on the plane. Now, goodness me, no privacy these days, is there? Goodly gosh. But by the sounds of it, the two races in Saudi Arabia and Bahrain have been cancelled, which means they were down to 22 races this year, which personally I think is much better than 24. As much as I love Formula One, I do think that 24 races is far too much. I think the 22 races is probably far too much as well. Personally, I think around 20 races is enough, and maybe put some tracks on rotation. But I would not say do not put do not put Belgium on rotation, because that's one of the best circuits on the calendar. But there you go. Maybe put some other circuits on rotation. Maybe like the Madrid and Barcelona potentially. Personally, I'm not a fan of watching the Spanish Grand Prix. I am looking forward to the Madrid. I reckon it'll be quite interesting. But the circuit does look a bit bland, especially it's quite narrow in the final sector. But I do love a new circuit, of course, even if it is a street circuit. The Real Fig going 6 fast there. 2/10 of a second behind his teammate at the moment there. As who is that guy? I need to block him. I don't really know who he is. This goodness gracious me, just spamming with all kinds of profanity. And I'm going to be honest, I apologise profusely for that word he used there, because that is awful word to use. I think that's the worst word in the dictionary, personally. Jamie James making their debut tonight in the Ferrari. Chlorine Pilot then is, I think that's Riley going up into third fast there with Vessier in fourth, Mumford in fifth mode. Knowles here slotted into fourth position. Nicely done indeed. Just watching the debutant tonight, which is Jamie James, and of course debutant in silver, not in ALR. Of course, Jamie James super summoned inside for Chlorine Pilot, who's missing the second week in a row. Talking of Ferrari, we have Lucas Persson decided to call it a day in gold there. Jamie James got in front of Knowlesy there. So a good 17th there for Jamie James. I think he might enjoy this race a bit more. Oh gosh, is Liam going to join that race as as Haas spin the car at turn 6, unfortunately. What about the championship leader? It is Torrid coming through turn 4 and then 5, where we just seen Liam have half a spin there, but is on his way. But of course, Torrid, the championship leader, we just had a car teleport. But yes, anyway, as I say then, yes, Lucas Percy has given up his Ferrari seat, so I'm not sure who's next in line for gold. Pretty sad indeed, but I'm not surprised, to be honest. Only 6 Grand Prix starts this season. I don't think some drivers are enjoying the game, are they? But there we go. Anyway, Torrid now, of course, leading the championship. I think he's enjoying it at the moment, isn't he? Torrid is coming out turn 13. Anyway, going back to the super clipping, absolutely shocking 17. You shouldn't be super clipping, or you shouldn't be harvesting on the balls right now. One lap that you're meant to be at as Torrid goes a whisker behind KD, less than a tenth of a second there between first and second position of 2 championship protagonists. Whether we'll have the same action-packed drama that we did between the other 2 championship protagonists in gold like last night remains to be seen. Course there we'll keep you up to date with all the goings on in gold then, of course, and all that kind of stuff, but yes, I don't mind the rules for real F1, but I must say that you shouldn't be harvesting on the qualifying lap, because the qualifying is meant to be the fastest part of the weekend. And if the battery packs can't last a lap, then that is a poor job indeed. Then I'm open about these rules. Don't get me wrong. And one thing I do love is I love how cars look so much more. Even though they shrunk down only a little bit, don't they look so much better? Absolutely they do. As much as I never liked the ground effect here, I thought it was alright to be getting Evans. Liam is getting a lot of oversteer in that Williams there. I didn't mind the ground effect, but I just felt that the cars, I didn't like it personally, myself. But even in Ginger, we lost Percy, damn it. So Serious Mushroom, yeah, I think we've only got one champion now in gold, haven't we? Which is Emerson, of course, back in season 4 and 5. But of course, Emerson's not just a champion, he's a double world champion, isn't he? As Liam comes into the garage now that at least there was plenty of passing, says Serious Mushroom. There was for like the opening 10 laps. To be fair though, would you like more passing, or would you prefer hang on, let me try and word this better. It's about quality. It's quality over quantity. I don't want passing for the sake of passing. I would prefer to. I feel that sometimes a good race doesn't need to always have a lot of passing, in my opinion. But what I did like was the battery or the overtake did get drivers in the area to overtake. So it wasn't a slam dunk like it sometimes was in DRS. But having said that, then there's other times where they just flew past each other as well. As the Williams getting on the way there, I think that might have been Nigel then, who was the second Williams' teammate. Liam then, who has had a couple of issues on his opening lap so far. Donovan Dan slows the time runner so far. We've had 13 drivers that is out on circuit mode. Only 18 drivers have taken part tonight. A lot of drivers have battled out by the looks of things in silver over the past couple of hours or so. Donovan Dan goes a length fast on in front of Hungary Stars there. So I've got me thinking that Silver's not really a big fan of Hungary then potentially. It was too easy. It was too easy to prefer a good dive bomb like a Jenner. So who doesn't love a dive bomb? Of course, Kobayashi was the king of dive bombs as well. I gotta say, if DRS didn't come into, I keep saying I've got to say, what have I got to say, Sean? Come on, spit it out. I think that if DRS wasn't a thing in 2011 and 12, I reckon Kobayashi would have gone down as one of the best overtakers in Formula 1 history. I loved Kobayashi when he first came to F1. I've got to say, the Kobayashi hairpin was one of my highlights of the Japanese Grand Prix 2010, even though Jaime Alguersuari wasn't a fan, as I remember that Alguersuari really made a meal of it, of trying to keep the Japanese driver behind there. But Kobayashi, then, I got a soft spot for the Japanese driver. I think he drives, does he still drive in the Le Mans series? What's it called now? WEC. Yes, as KD has gone faster by 4/10 of a second with 7 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Tori's out on circuit and Pot Stuff has got off the circuit, unfortunately, and is recovering now. Riley is a 10th of a second up in the second intermediate split time, then is return 12, now into turn 13. Don't want to take too much of that inside curve, because that inside curve can be quite precarious. Thank goodness me, I sound like one of the two Ronnies. Out of the final turn then, I'm going to be honest, a lot of you probably don't know who the two Ronnies are. Riley goes across the line, a second passes there, and of course, Riley, of course, has been phenomenal feast for the Mercedes driver this season. Won his first Grand Prix of his career earlier on this season, but unfortunately it's been a bit of a difficult season after that. Then Jidder is currently in 5th position. Jamie James is in 6th, and Knowlesy has had a pretty disappointing first section there. Vessier down in 8th position, but Vessier has mentioned about his qualifying attempts over the past number of weeks, and haven't we? We've heard from Vessier, didn't we? Tori's invalidated there, so there's more pressure on Tori now. Jenner is also invalidated as well, with just under 6 minutes to go in this qualifying session, unfortunately. So I'm trying to see who's on a quick lap at the moment, because I think they've all fallen by the wayside. So I'm going to stick with Jamie James for the minute. Chazza, hello there. Good luck, Silver. I swear this grid gets better and better every season. Might see me there next season. Look forward to it, says Chazza. We look forward to seeing you here on Tuesdays as well, Chazza. Having said that, Chazza, of course, I'm not saying you're going to be in silver, but and of course, hopefully, it'd be great for you to stay in gold then. But both Chazza and the Williams team are struggling a bit. But Legends had a great race last night, as Vessier goes into 5th position and on the third row of the grid. Oh my gosh, my feet are absolutely freezing. I'm gonna have to get me slippers on in a minute. Liam coming out of the final turn then, so Liam getting his first time on the board, and he is a whisker behind Smithy at the moment. Smithy is trying to improve, but unfortunately has not so far. Goodness me, is that a mirage? No, it's Farf on circuit. Good heavens above. And Farf just posted in the chat that he was watching the Spice Girls the movie from '97 there. Goodness gracious me, I'm not sure what's sad, to be honest. And Farf watching the Spice Girls, or the fact is that movie came out in 1997. Goodness me. And that was the last time that Williams have won a Constructors or Drivers Championship. Good gracious me. And of course, that was Jacques Villeneuve in the 1997 season. And I've got to say, Farfar coming in quite hot there, isn't he? I thought he was going to crash into the bar there and emulating the one of the best drivers of all time, David Coulthard. I don't know why, I've always had a soft spot for David Coulthard. When I first started watching F1, of course, I did like Damon Hill, but then after Damon Hill, there wasn't really many Brits that you could cheer for, to be honest. Looking back, I wasn't really a big fan of Eddie Irvine, and that's probably why I like David Coulthard personally. Eva Styles, all the thing is teleporting. That is dangerous there. Absolutely is that. What's happened to Tori? I look down or look back up, and he's going the wrong way. is Tory. Reflection is our qualifying. I think he left the session then, and unfortunately for Reflection, he's going to be at the back of the grid then. The man who's fourth in the Drivers' Championship, the man who won the British Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago, is having a horror show. Goodness gracious me. Virginia's out on circuit. Mumford then getting pole position in the other two races of the season, but since then it hasn't been too good for the McLaren driver, and it has been his teammate taking all the plaudits. So Mumford has really got to put that right then, or is Mumford not too bothered? I do not know, to be honest. I'd rather stay in gold, but wouldn't decline some fresh scenery, says Chatter. Absolutely, a fresh bill of paint always does the world of good, doesn't it? Which I must say that if I owned me flat, I would certainly be painting my walls pink as well then. Give Mushroom that Aston Martin seat next season then. Real Ashton saying, is that a real F1? I absolutely agree with that then. I think that you can replace Lance Stroll there. But I reckon Mushroom will probably do more laps than that Lance Stroll as well. I still hear a whisper that Lance Stroll is still lapping around the Australian Grand Prix at the moment, isn't he? I think it was 10 laps down, wasn't he? Goodness me, I know we shouldn't laugh about it, but after all the hype for Aston Martin, it just got completely peaked on. And to be honest, Honda have done it again, haven't they? Oh, dear me. Of course, oh my word, and into the wall goes Mumford there. That was a beautiful drift. However, that's not how quick, that's not the fastest an F1 car should be going drifting around there. And unfortunately for Mumford, that is going to be frustration out of the very fast turn 11 corner there. And unfortunately for Mumford, the highest he's going to be now is 10 positions. So the McLaren driver then, who is going to be frustrated in the midfield as well, because of course overtaking around here is at a premium from the hardest overtake circuit on the season, that excluding Monaco, because Monaco is not on the calendar. Charles Silver champ next season. Make Ashton my teammate. He can be Stroll then. At least I can do is give it a go, says Charles. Absolutely. Really good 17 then. I think in terms of next season, then of course we will be using the DLC from F1 26, but even though that has been delayed, I think there's going to be a bit of a shake-up as well. But that is all down to the admin stuff, they do the bridge stuff, because that is not my repertoire. And all that kind of stuff, and I just do spreadsheets and do the numbers that no one cares about. Jamie James, second fastest out for the Davidson, magnificent stuff indeed, and that is a mega lap from the Ferrari driver. Riley's invalidated, but Riley has time for one more lap, but has he got the deployment and the tyres? Jenner on circuit in 7th position, Styles up to 11th, and the real thing is 4 seconds down, but I think he's starting his lap now. Smithy Almighty has found a quarter of a second in the second intermediate split time, and also Farf is going for broke as well in his pink machine then. Here's the other pink machine, but a different pink and blue machine. It is Smithy Almighty, half a second almost in the second intermediate split time. That will put him in the ballpark around 13th, 12th position then for the man who's third in the Drivers' Championship last season, the man who's won 3 Constructors' Championships, and currently, as it stands, could be on course to win this 4th Constructors' Championship over gold, over silver and bronze. That's superb. And whoa, that's even better. He's found another 3/10 of a second. That is 8th position there for Smithy Almighty. That is a mega lap for Smithy Almighty. Generous found 10th of a second. That will not get him in front of Besser, so let's see what he's got in the final couple of turns. Well, the final turn, and Jenner goes 7th fastest, not enough unfortunately. What about Potstuff, third in the Drivers' Championship? It needs a statement. That is a statement from Potstuff. It's pole position then for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Sorry, I just yelled in your ear there, goodness me. Pole position there for Potstuff then, with the checker flag fluttering in the breeze. Really mega stuff indeed then. As we got Nigel, the first ever ALR world champion, has just gone into 9th fastest. And what about KD, who's second in the world championship? Tory's abandoned his time, he is finished, and KD across the line. No, it's not enough then. And by 2 thousandths of a second then, KD is on the front row of the grid. but it's not enough to get pole position then. Vessier out to the far turn. He's got a lot of deployment left, has Vessier. Medal goes into 8th. Vessier into 5th. That's a great lap from Vessier. Mega Stumney. Nolte has found 4/10 to a second. The Aston Martin machine. 9th position there for Nolte then. Great Stumney in the top. Aston Martin, but it's hot. Pot stuff. Goodness me, I said hot stuff then. It's pot stuff on pole position then for the man who's third in the Drivers' Championship. His third pole position of his career. Fantastic stuff indeed for Potster. How many pole positions is it this season? Let me get me old spyglass out. That's his first pole position of the season for Potster. And not only that, then he's doing a victory lap then for qualifying, and he's gone around again then. Goodness me. So his first pole position of the season for Potster, his third pole position of his career then, and that is Haas on pole position. And listen to this. McLaren, Haas, Williams, Alpine, Aston Martin and Ferrari. 6 constructors have been on pole position this season. And that's the most out of any championship because the others have only had 4. Fantastic. Right, where am I? Oh, goodness me, I've got 22 seconds to sort the grid out. 2,000 seconds separates Potstuff for his third pole position of his career. KD is on the front row, though, so I think if he had that, he's in front of his championship rival. Jeremy James on his debut in third. Riley and Vessier 4th and 5th. Tory, the championship leader, down 6th. Ginner and Medal 7th and 8th. Knowles in Smithy Almighty. It's an all-admin row 5. Nigel, Mumford, the real thing, and Stiles. It's an all-kick Sauber, row 7, and I've missed the rest. Goodness gracious me. Shocking 17. It's an all Sauber. What was I going to say? It's an all kick Sauber row 7-9. Then we got Dynamo Dan, Liam, Farf, and Reflections. Is Reflections joined? I hope he has, because Reflections said we want to see him in and see how he gets on in terms of fighting through the field then. And of course, lovely sunshine. I didn't expect anything less here because it doesn't. I say it doesn't rain here, does it? But what circuit was we to earlier on the season where it where it rained very little or hardly rained at all, didn't it? Goodness gracious me. Right, let me get rid of all my notifications. Can't remember what it is now. Where was I? Red Bull got rid of Newey at the right time, says Sirius Mushup. I'm strolling every season in bronze, so it comes with the programme, says Real Ashton. But hats off to Real Ashton because I think that turning up week in, week out and going racing is absolutely formidable stuff indeed there for Real Ashton. So absolutely tip my hat off to you, my good sir. If Smithy puts Dammy in bronze, what? Goodness me, Mushroom. Whoa, protocol, please. Go on, pot stuff then, says Jinan. Messed up my lap, lost 3 tenths. That's tenths, not tenths. Unless you want to go wild camping. Which, by the way, that's how sad I am. I really enjoy watching people go wild camping in like bad weather at the moment. I don't know why. I do it on TikTok a lot. Shocking stuff indeed. Are you? What's you camping, says Serious Mushroom. Yeah, I was hitting half a second easy. I just couldn't put it together then. Come on, put stuff from Hammer Time as well. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Right, all notifications are gone, so I'm all fine and ready to go then. So tyre strategy is then, so it's a bit more different than it was last night then. That's great English, short, I gotta say, superb stuff indeed. That is why English is your first language. Ginner, hard. Tyres, it is. Mumford on hard tyres, and with Liam and Farf also on hard tyres. Everyone else on medium. Reflection is not in his car. I am a little concerned about this. This is a golden opportunity with the grid not full. This is a golden opportunity though for one of the drivers then who have not really scored many points this season. Potentially the real thing might be hoping to get some points on the board. I would have said Slop as well, but Slop is not in this lobby, which is actually the second time in a row. Slop hasn't finished the race since the Miami Grand Prix in round 4, unfortunately for Slop. Also, maybe the likes of just having a look down the order. Nigel hoping to get off the board as well. Mumford will be hoping to score some major points. And so a lot of drivers out there be hoping to score some decent points here tonight then. Any tips for the horse racing at Cheltenham this week? I forgot to tell the stewards, but actually I'm going to Cheltenham on Friday, which is going to be good. Something. I'm not going into Cheltenham Racecourse because it's like 80 quid for a ticket. I'm absolutely not a clue then. I would set a serious watch to save some money, absolutely. I'm putting a cheeky 20 quid on Cachondary, which is I think I got 30 quid last year for putting 20 quid on it, which is great odds, isn't it? Reflection still not in his car then, and that is absolute disappointing stuff indeed then. Hopefully Reflection will get back in, but I am nervous because if he's not on the grid for the start of this Grand Prix then potentially then that means that the Real Reflections might not be able to get in it. Reflection might not be able to get in. So we are waiting for the grid, and once again the cars are ghosted there. Oh, dear. 4, 5 lights are on, and here we go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's lights out, and it's a go down into turn 1. It's a long run down into turn 1. Potster, Jamie James is already up into second position there, but KD will up the inside. KD is going to be concerned, I think, though, with Jamie James, because Jamie James, of course, is a reserve driver. I think the Tory and KD did make contact momentarily. Riley in full position as well there. So they all stream down into turn number 2, and now it's Tory has been forced out wide from the Mercedes driver. Tory has the inside then. They go side by side, and that Haas of Jinner has spun the car, and he's in the wall, I think, there for Jinner. I think it's a glancing blow for Jinner. I don't think he's got damage from looking at that long shot. The real thing in 14th position. Dynamo Dan has stayed where he is, but Jinner, who's he's gone into the wall quite heavily actually. So I'm talking absolute boulder dash. But Jinner is in major problems, and it's going to be an early pit stop for Jinner. And I'm sure that Jinner was on the hard tires as well. He was indeed. That is a hammer blow for Jinner. Oh dear, oh dear. I think he has to wait till the start, says Serious Motion, so hopefully Reflection can get back in after the start. But I haven't seen Reflection join the lobby since leaving though. Coming out to complete lap 1 though. Pot Stuff is the leader with Jamie James in second position. Of course, is Jamie James doing a great job out there at the moment, looking very formidable indeed. And look at this, and already then the drivers are trying to break the slipstream there. There's Riley trying to break the slipstream for his teammate Prudish Medal, and we got Tory in sixth position as well. So Jinner is in the pits very early on there. Frustration for Jinner. Sorry. Oh dear me. Far from to 13th position there, using his launch control to absolutely fantastic performance once again. Far best. I reckon that Favre still has option 13 to be honest. And of course, that rumor about that Benetton Ford in '94 not being 100% legal, of course. But even though I haven't said that, if you watch the '95 season, Benetton probably have the second slowest car. Second quickest, not second slowest car. That means they would have been around the 40s and the Pacifics. They had the second quickest car, and really Williams made a hash of that. So I think they really put those demons to bed in '95, of course. As you can tell, I watched the '95 season review the other day. I am so cool, I know. Right then, going to complete lap 2 in this race. This race, I think, is one of the longer races of the season, and so this is going to really test the driver's peak performance. And it's going to be all about keeping concentration and keeping drivers very much at the edge of their concentration levels, which could be crucial. So far, Pot Stuff has got a 10-point swing over himself and KD. Tory's only on 8 points about this. A traditional point scoring, point scoring positions like it is normally in actual Formula 1, unless of course you're watching it back in the 90s and early 2000s, when of course it was first to 6, and then after that it was first to 8. But I must admit, I didn't really like the first to 8 points, because basically it didn't really award drivers with winning the race, did they, when it went down from 10 to 8 to 6. And I think that in 2003, when it was first introduced, Kimi Räikkönen only won one race, didn't he? But his consistency was superb. So I suppose you've got two arguments, two school of thoughts, haven't you there? Whether, of course, whether you should be awarded for consistency or for outright wins and speed then. Of course, answers on a postcard down in the comments below. That's what we heard a lot of the admins, a lot of the pro YouTubers saying. So, yes, all that kind of stuff. Reflection is so currently you've got 17 runners left there. I don't like to say this, but ignore Reflection at the moment. And the bronze champion. How can you ignore the bronze champion? Goodness gracious me! But as it stands at the moment, then Reflection not in the car. Having issues in qualifying, left the session. He hasn't returned since then. So technical dramas for the Ferrari, and once again Ferrari then are not going to be scoring in this race then as it stands at the moment. So frustration, and you might be shouting at me through your mobile devices, through your TV or wherever you're watching, that there is a Ferrari in second position. You're absolutely right. There is a Ferrari in second position, but of course, Jamie James is a reserve driver, and reserve drivers do not score Constructors' Championship points. Reason being is because in bronze a few seasons ago, Ferrari won the Constructors' Championship in bronze in season 8 or 7, when basically they didn't have a driver for 95% of the race, 95% of the season, and the reserve basically won the Constructors' Championship, which that's a bit of a harsh statement, because I think the other driver in that Ferrari was basically there for majority of the time. But there you go, and all that kind of stuff. That's the reason behind the steward's decisions anyway. So as it stands, then they're all at Lionel Stern at the moment. Now Mumford is about a second and a half away, or second and a quarter away from Nigel. Hoping that I've got everything crossed tonight that Nigel gets on the point score on the points card then, so we can get some points there for himself and the Williams team then across the line. Then Potts to lead, second is Jamie James, and Katie in third position. It's going to be about strategy in this one then, of course, like last night as well. And who blinked first? Maybe grinning from ear to ear. You remember Julian getting his second Grand Prix win of his career, his first Grand Prix win of the season. That he pitted a couple of laps before Flippy did, and of course Flippy then couldn't get past Medina. So that might be in the minds of the drivers tonight then, in terms of pitting first then. What? He is in the car, he's just not driving it, says Serious Mushroom. I must admit, I was like, what does that mean? I was, oh, what's happened? No, and that's a commentator's curse. I am so sorry, Nigel. And Nigel is in the wall. Frustration from the first ever ALR World Champion. And Nigel, oh, dearie me. He was in a superb 8th finisher, but he's out of the race. And I'm going to be honest, I think that Nigel is just so frustrated with this season. Still no points on the board after 10 rounds. And this is 6th Grand Prix start for Nigel. And that's his 3rd retirement there. And Nigel has been disqualified from the session, out of the Grand Prix. Oh, I'm so sorry, because that's a commentator's curse, isn't it? But Nigel parking the car up, out of the Grand Prix, out of the race there. And that's more frustration there for Nigel, because Nigel was a season 5 champion in silver, wasn't he? And that was about 6 seasons ago, but Nigel out of the race there. One mistake at that very fast kink of turn 4, and we've seen a lot of drivers that crash over the years. I think Perez crashed there as well, or was it just further on there? Potentially it was further on. The real thing, up to 13 finish there, Diamond Dan then, who I think Diamond Dan certainly has been really cutting the mustard in at silver, as he flies past the real thing and moved himself to 13th position, but their battling has cost him dear in terms of the gap between Farf. Farf is a second and a half up the road now. Liam is on harder tires and is going to strike later on in this race. So Liam is going to struggle for position at the moment, struggle for performance in that hard tire, but that should come back towards him later on in this race. I'm running on lap 6 there. Haha, your fault. That's it. I'm telling Nigel, says Serious Russia. You've got no evidence apart from the stream. But I might have to just edit that and just take that part out. But so currently, as it stands, Jinder is well over a pit stop back, and unfortunately, you see that the map on the right-hand side shows that Jinder's only just coming through turn 5 now. That Nat and his teammate is leading the race. And so far, the Haas team are bookended. What is that? Meadows off the circuit then, and something's gone wrong in the final corner for Meadow, and dropping all the way down the order. I'm wondering if it's the heat of the circuit then, which has really caused it, and going right into, goodness me, Prudish Meadow then cut across Far, And Favre going right into the back now. I don't think Favre would appreciate that too much. I wonder if Meadow was just trying to get the car back under control. I'm wondering then if the circuit is so hot out there that the tyres are just being absolutely roasted. I love a roaster. Goodness me, but that's for Sunday, Sean. That's for Sundays. But unfortunately for Meadow and also off the circuit as well, I do feel that he's seen Nigel go off and now he's seen Meadow go off as well. Two different parts of the circuit. I think that it's the track temperature out there. Oil last turn then. I need to stop going out on the last turn. It's probably oil from my product, my hair products. That is the. I do use L'Oreal. I think. Actually, I don't even know what cool hair gel is these days. I just pick up the most cheapest one. It's usually Tesco's branded gel, to be fair. But I am a cheap so and so. Other part turn then, yeah, Haas bookend in the grid at the moment. Their Potsdam leads with Jenner down in 17th position there. Reflection starting to go on his car at the moment, so we're down to 16 runners and riders at the moment. So this is a great day for any drivers out there. This is usually just outside the top 10 of points, and as Jamie James there getting all squirrely there, and KD is out of DRS there. Goodness me, then as he might be able to get back in now, but Riley's been dropped as well by 2 seconds, and Tory there struggling to get past. Well, it's going to be a game of frustration, I think, this one is at the moment there. Kaya jinxing people, absolutely disgraceful. It absolutely is there. Serious Mushroom needs to be put in a timeout, I think, and absolutely disgraceful behaviour indeed there. Shockwave Tramp. What? How dare you? Actually, I used to love Shockwave. They also used to have the wet look as well, didn't they? Goodness me. And a Tesco's meal deal. You guys know too much about me. It's quite scary, really. That's basically what I do. I live in Tesco's. Having said that, their meal deals are now like £4.25. I didn't have my mobile phone with me today. So, yeah, my meal deal cost me £4.25. I remember the days when there was only £3. Goodness gracious me. Times are tough at the moment out there. And also also on the circuit as well. Oh gosh, we've got a big old rain coming in about an hour where I live. Oh, that's great stuff. All right, let me get rid of that. Goodness me. I thought my phone was on Do Not Disturb there. Goodness me. Actually, I don't really know how to do that, to be fair. Perhaps I should just turn it off. But then if I did turn it on, how am I going to watch the stream then, potentially? Why am I watching the stream on my phone instead of watching it? Oh, goodness me. There's a lot of questions, but we need to think more about this battle between Riley and Tory. And that is another lap behind Tory is behind Riley here, which is just more and more frustration. That's allowed Vesser to creep up as well. Tory leads the championship by 11 points then. As it stands at the moment, the championship will not be swung either way then. So I think Tory will lead the championship by 1 point, I think, give or take, or something like that. I probably should get my calculator out, but that is Smith and White's lost 2 positions there. So Smith and White must have lost must have had a moment here or there somewhere. But down to 12th position is Smith and White. And you're in IT, jeez. I turned it off and back on, goodness me. Talking of which, I've got a big day tomorrow night here. I've got to do something quite scary on my own. So I'm going into work at like 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm hoping that the interviewees tonight are quite quick and crisp, because I probably want to have use the facilities and then go to bed. So goodness me. But however, well, I say go to bed. You know what's going to happen, don't you? I'm just going to go on the YouTube and then find a YouTube video and then just stick to it until God knows when. Goodness me. To be honest, though, having said that, I must say, when you work in IT, there's a lot of things that you think that IT people are good at, but really not. Like one thing that I really suck at is sound. Just ask Knowles in the admin guys, because when we first set up like Streamlabs, like OBS, and I think that's Metal off the circle again, and it unfortunately out of turn 1 there. Of course, I'm sure that we seen another driver go off there last time. I think that was Emerson actually, wasn't it? We might have to call that the Emerson Hilton corner, or maybe Hilton Hill, even though it's going downhill. But Meadow unfortunately spinning for the 2nd time in this race, unfortunately. So it's a downward spiral there. This circuit, this one is really where it breaks at you, doesn't it? If you do not keep your concentration. Potstuff is out of Prudish got a 3-second penalty. I think that's frustration. Potstuff is out of DRS of Jamie James at the moment, and now KD is starting to home in on Jamie James. And of course, at the moment, KD could be looking over his shoulder here. Is he going to be looking over his shoulder? I do not know, to be honest. I think that KD's going to be focusing more on his own race, but he's probably like thinking, where's his championship rival? Where is Tory? Well, he will know that Tory's in 5th position from there. He knows that he's outscoring Tory. Yes, we're just over half distance in this Drivers' Championship. Anything can happen in this championship. It usually does, and there's a long way to go still. Hilton Spill, I love that. I'm stealing that, by the way. I've copyrighted that as well. It's now SM instead of TM there. It's Sean Martin. As KD, and it's just about keeping him in a DRS there. But yes, with Tory down in 5th position, and KD, I don't think he's going to be too concerned about how this race is going so far. Reflection is back in the session. Fantastic stuff indeed. Now we got an argument, because Reflection is bunked off the first 11 laps or so. Is he eligible for points if he gets to the end? Yeah, why not? We make 11 to go along, don't we? Goodness me. To be honest, I think that'll be down to the stewards' discretion. Goodness me. English, Sean, come on, sort it out, son. My word. We just watched the stars among us. We've got a bit of a conga line now falling behind Mumford and Knowlesy. Farfair as well. And it looks like Mumford on the hard tyres and Farfair on the hard tyres as well is really sandwiching the two drivers on the medium tyres in the form of Knowlesy and Hungary Styles. The drivers that have come up from bronze this season, the likes of Styles, the likes of Swift and White Sea, and of course the likes of Reflection, they have all done such a superb job, haven't they? Because in the past, the bronze drivers that come to silver have not always fared too well, have they? I think that of course, going against the grain is the likes of Vester, who's done a great, of course, came up from bronze a few seasons ago and has done superb ever since. Farr Bennett is lining up his next victim here. Farr Bennett there, as he's probably singing a bit of Spice Girls in his crash helmet as well. The real figures left the session now. So, oh, goodness me, what is going on with these sessions there? Whoever said the cross-play was a good idea needs to probably be taken out beyond the woodshed and given a slap across the face with a wet fish. I think that was me. To be fair, I did think the crossplay would be a good idea because this Tory's got a 3-second penalty. My reason behind the crossplay is because I thought that crossplay would actually, encourage more drivers to come in there and hopefully have more of a stable grid. Because one thing that really annoys me at the moment is the amount of driver changes, which I wish would be less and less. Because when you have basically like over a third of the grid changes, then it doesn't look nice on my spreadsheet. As look at Tory, he's getting very close to the back end of Riley here. He's having a look. Goodness me, Tory is out. That would have been a bit dangerous to have a look into turn number 12 for Tory. And he could have a run down into turn 1 then with DRS. And look at the car sliding into the pits. Comes Riley, and KD is in the pits as well. The championship leader coming in on lap 12. I'm surprised that more drivers didn't follow, to be honest. Just keeping an eye on the pit entry there. Only 2 drivers have elected to come at this stage. I remember the undercut around here is quite powerful indeed. Then the real fig. Invites, please. I got a minute. How do I invite? Oh, I got a friend. Fantastic. I'll sort that out in a minute. How do I invite someone? Oh, goodness me. Here we go. Right. Where am I? I think I've got the real fig, haven't I? As a friend. Uh-oh. Where are you? How do I invite people? To be honest, I'm panicking because I know that you're all just staring at me, shouting at me, and I get scared. Goodness me. Hopefully someone can invite the real fig back in as we're communicating with the server there, which isn't very good, is it? How do I invite someone? 1 second, I'm being an idiot. Invite to game. Oh, look at this. I am absolutely superb, and goodness gracious me. Excuse my typing, I got really fat fingers, that's why. The real fig. Why can't I invite you? The player's already been added. Oh, okay. Well, the real fig dropping down the orders into the pits comes Potstuff and Jamie Jameson. What is Tory going to do? Is Tory going to stay up now, Ben? Goodness gracious me. Reflections will have the best tyres, and says Serious Mushroom. Evening to you, Halsey. As how is it then? As we've also got try your own one then. Evening everyone as well from Martin. Great stuff indeed as Tory is leading, but not for long because up the inside goes Vessier. Oh, is Vessier showing them Tory the rear wheel? And I don't think Tori is going to be too pleasant with that one, as the Vesser looks like he had a really bad run out of turn. Oh, and was there, did Tori force Vesser off the road there? Was that a bit of road rage for the championship leader? As Vesser's on right behind Knowlesy there, as Mumford, of course, on the hard tyres. And look at this conga line now, that is a frustration Grand Prix, this one is a... Invite some requests on Serious Bush. Star's got a 3-second penalty. Can the real thing join on his own one, though? I'm hoping he can, to be fair. Goodness me. The amount of hours I've played this game, and I don't really know how to invite anyone, but that's why I'm not the lobby host then. Every time I am the lobby host, then I'm not allowed to take control, because usually Knowlesy, Farfel, Smith and Whitey takes over from me, to be fair, because I'm goodness gracious me. I'm like, yeah, actually, maybe not. Let's not go down that description. Hopefully the real thing can get back in there. Goodness me. Is that down to cross-play? Is that the reason why we're losing drivers then? Is that down to cross-play, do you reckon? Maybe you should just go back to PlayStation only. Oh gosh, the admin's going to hit me, are they? I chop and change my mind every week. Goodness gracious me. Out of the final turn there. Mumford leads this Grand Prix. Remember, Mumford had an appalling qualifying. Farf in second position. I would say Farf had an appalling qualifying, but I think he was practicing his dance steps on Just Dance. Potstaff info. No, Katie going on the inside contact. Real Thing's back in. Fantastic. But Potstaff is lost lead, and Potstaff is absolutely furious with the KD there, as Jamie James down into a 5th position. 6 is Riley, with the real figures back in, and hopefully he can get back in his car, but that's a lot of time that he's lost then. Tori in 8th position there, and I'm wondering if Tori and Bessie, who've just pitted that, I'm wondering if that's going to be under investigation at the end of the race. And of course, as the two drivers said, I think that Tori there may have strong-armed Bessie off the road there, but did Bessie make contact with Tori? And there's a lot of questions that needs to be answered, but will not be answered by me tonight, because I'm on the fence there. Because you're in IT and have no clue, says Serious Bush. Hey, this is not IT, this is gaming and all that kind of stuff. Gaming is officially not IT, in my opinion. It didn't allow me to rejoin, restarted me PlayStation. This is the real thing, then. Are you in now, Real Thing? Because I seen you join in. Can you not take control? Oh, I think the Real Thing's in. So Real Thing is in, then, as he's locking up his tyres there and doing a good job then. But look, here's Potstuff, and Potstuff then is all over the back of the McLaren, as the McLaren is got by Farf. Potstuff's got by Farf as well. Contact between Farf and Potstuff, and now Potstuff, and who I think was being a big read by KD, overtaking him last lap then, as they all go down into turn 3-2 now, as Jamie James is through as well, with Versio getting past Knowlesy. Real Fig also lose that as well. They're ghosting, and goodness gracious me, then there's all kinds of other kids as well. Knowlesy has to take evasive action as he's on the car park area. His Versio's left the session as well. Goodness gracious me, what is going on here? Styles in 9th, 10th is Knowlesy, 11th is Dynamite, down with Smithy in 12th, the Real Fig down in 30th position, him losing connection to the lobby as Hamstrung is competitive at no, I think it must be. I'm too drunk to talk. Oh, arc at you, says Serious Bush. I'm sure that was a Forrester thing that arc at you. My word then. As we've got more going on here, then Vesser has lost connection. Hopefully Vesser can get in with the old invites that was sent out earlier on in this one. It's a McLaren one too. McLaren, I used to think that McLaren had a rich history around here. They certainly did in the late 90s and early 2000s, of course, when it was very much the Finn Mecha Hackler, very popular around here. Of course, with Finland not having any Grand Prix, I think this is the closest. Goodness me! As contact between the two cars, as Podstuff, McLaren, Podstuff and McLaren then, and where are they? And Podstuff's on the outside, Katie has lost the lead, and now once again then, just like last night, it's becoming absolutely heated in the cars, not only on circuit, but also the cockpit as well, as KD then, of course, lunging and taking the lead over Podstuff, and now then, Jamie James all over the gearbox, while Mumford's lost the lead, then he's also got a 3-second penalty for his troubles as well, as Knowlesy in 9th finish, then Knowlesy is, of course, no penalty for Knowlesy. Vesser, oh my goodness gracious me, Vesser has just set a lap time of 0.047. Wow, I'm gonna be honest, Bester. You've either absolutely blitzed that lap there. You have found a shortcut, which even if you found a shortcut, that is the best laptop I've ever seen. I don't think that laptop's ever gonna be is ever gonna be broken. To be honest, Bester passing the speed of light. Smashing this is what are you drinking, Bester? I gotta be honest. I reckon that you're one of those what's it, Cronenberg kind of guys potentially. Or no, Cockenberg? No, Cockenberg. No, it's Cronenberg, isn't it? Or is it Cockenberg? Potstuff flying underneath me as well, and has stretched his legs ever so slightly. Riley has got past Mumford and moved his Mumford, I should say, moved his way up into fourth position. Mumford down to fifth position, but it's a strong performance for Mumford as for Favre as well. However, I do not want to say this too loudly, but both drivers still needs to pit then, so they might be goal hanging here for a safety car. Smithfield Mighty a bit too far back to overtake Diamond down. There's a lot of penalties out there at the moment. However, Albert Cole said we've also got to think about what are we thinking about? I do not know. There's a penalties out there, so drivers said they've not got any penalties will be able to elevate themselves up a few positions as well, as long as they keep inside the time of the penalty. I went to the pub after work. Oh, are you a Carling drinker? Goodness, I can't say much. I used to be a Carling drinker. Having said that, though, the older I've got, the more I have to go with fruity cider now. But there you go. That just says a lot about me, doesn't it? Really. Anyway, nothing wrong with fruity cider drinkers. Goodness me, I'm a man who loves a bit of strawberry in my life. I'm being a strawberry blonde man like myself as well, or ginger, or Morocco, or autumn dawn, or Moroccan sunset, and all the other ones in between. Yes, I am ginger, but there you go. That's why I like my fruity ciders. And back at the front, KD currently leads the way at the moment. We're half distance in this Grand Prix. Still got half to go. Then there are half time here in this one as got rained off. We don't have no rain around here. Far into the pits then. I reckon Sir Griffin just slacking the since the pits comes far now then. So stopping it as Mark said, the race support mechanics going to work. Medium tyres out for Farber. Well, he was on the hard tyres, so yes, certainly it would go to medium tyres. Look how thick those tyres are. Goodness gracious me. One thing, of course, the tyres will be a lot littler next season, won't they? I don't mean the darts player, I mean they'll be smaller, as just on board with KD once again. But those tyres are quite big, and I'm expecting this season in real F1 now for the pit stops to probably be back down. A lot of pit stops be average of 1.9 seconds to 2 seconds. Yeah, Carling and Southern Comfort. Goodness gracious me, that's hardcore. Good lord, my word. Oh gosh. Last time I had anything that strong, I think I ended up on a boat to Dover. Goodness gracious me. I'm the boss. If I say it's pub, it's pub. That's the kind of boss I like. Sadly, my boss is not like that. He tells me to work harder, you slacker. This is just watching Katie. Oh goodness me! This race has turned into absolute anarchy, hasn't it? Oh my word! Then this is why I'm only allowed to commentate twice a week. You see, Knowles gets the admins are going to be absolutely disgusted with all this foobar going on so far. All this foobar. Yes, KD currently is gaining on Potstuff and 15 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Smithfield might all over the back of Dynamo Dan. No, he isn't, because he's now in front of Dynamo Dan. His Farmer's got past Liam and up into 12th position there. I think Vescher's back in the car, but unfortunately for Vescher, half distance in this Grand Prix, lost connection, and also as well, I think that him and Tori got a bit rough and tough with each other, and unfortunately Vescher came out second best in that one. So I do feel that there might be an investigation after this Grand Prix on that, because I think that they're going to be a bit unhappy then. Yellow flag, what's happened then? There's something gone wrong, and once again I think it is I'm not sure if it's a Medal or Liam then, but unfortunately Medal's been caught red-handed there. He's gone off the circuit, and a 3-second penalty is coming his way. Liam also recovering his one in 40 position, but remember that Liam was kind of a last-minute replacement then. If you think about who was it? It was Paul di Resta, wasn't it, in the Williams in 2017 then? Basically, Paul di Resta got more practice than what Liam did tonight. So go very much. What's happening here? Oh, as into the pits comes Mumford after 20 laps. I was expecting them on the pit straight there. I was like, where are they all? Goodness me. But as Stiles headers through up to 6th position there. So Mumford coming in on the medium tyres into the end of this Grand Prix. On board with KD. As it stands at the moment, KD will retake the lead in the Drivers' Championship after Tori had a bit of a difficult qualifying session. He's trying to come back through the order now. But this is the problem with a difficult qualifying at a circuit like this, that it's very much as you were, sir. The Jenner then is recovering after having a spin there before turn 12, unfortunately. So yes, qualifying is quite important, and unfortunately that if you do not qualify well around this circuit, you're going to be very much as a prudish medal out of the Grand Prix. And we're down to 16 runners and riders in this one. KD is very much matching stride for stride pot stuff at the moment between this battle in here. Very interesting indeed. I'll just poke myself in the eye. That's not good, is it? As British medal of the World. It's our second retirement in this race. 16 cars remain out of the 18 that started. Well, 17 that started. Reflections was parachuted in later on this race after unfortunately unable to take the start. So Reflections has really been hang strung as well, and potentially could lose his full position in the Drivers' Championship. But having said that, is direct rival in the championship for full position. Vessier having an equally difficult race, albeit for Vessier is currently in 10th position at the moment. So it's not all doom and gloom there for Vessier, so he could get some points from it there on in there, but we'll see how that one transpires. Back on with KD. So of course it got very fruity between Potstep and KD in the battle for the lead a couple of laps ago. Then goodness gracious me, and very much elbows out there, but KD then is of course wants to retake the lead in the Drivers' Championship with Tori down in 5th position. Tori currently in 5th, 8 seconds away from Riley, and has got a penalty as well. So being that Tori is going to be more concerned about staying in front of Stiles and Knowlesy and Smithy as well. All drivers behind him that don't have penalties. Having said that, Stiles does have penalties, which we'll check in the next 8 laps or so. But KD is really pushing now, and Berry, as Riley's got a penalty as well, unfortunately for his efforts. But the top two have not got any penalties just yet, which is all super stuff. And Steve then, which I know is, I don't think this is the circuit is too easy to get penalties on here, but you still got to be very much have your wits about you, don't they? I look at this, similar to last night between Flippy and Medi. Now these two drivers are starting to fight, and there's Potstuff defending that. Was that a bit day late, $1 short? I don't think so personally. But goodness me, that could have looked a bit more. Looked a bit more. A bit more frightening off board then, but Potstuff did make his one decisive move then down into turn 1. So I think that's all fine done. But look at this, and KD is all over him now like a bad suit. Then as we go up into turn 4, and all of a sudden KD is really starting to crank the hammer now. Is it crank the hammer or something like that? But he's really starting to put the pressure on Potstuff, who's been leading this race for a majority of this one so far. Oh, what's happened? Potstuff is in the wall. Oh no! And Potstuff is in the wall, and what has happened there for Potstuff? He was leading this race there, and he's in the wall. And I'm just going to have a look at the stream next. He's looking at KD, and I think that I'm not sure if Potstuff just caught the curve, but that is really going to cost Potstuff dearly, and that is his third Grand Prix win. It's gone up in tatters, and unfortunately that's damage to the Haas front nose cone as well, so he's going to have to come in and change the wing there for Potstuff. But all of a sudden KD was putting the pressure on Potstuff. Did Potstuff crack, or was there an issue with the Haas car? Well, either way, Potstuff is not leading this race anymore. He's in the pits now, and scheduled stop then. The Haas mechanics will be dashing out there to get a new wing change then, and also to try and salvage something this weekend. But I think that's also Haas going to be losing the lead in the Constructors' Championship as well. Into the pits now comes up Potstuff. I'll be there second actually. Medium tyres going on, the new nose cone there for Potstuff. That is a bitter blow for Potstuff, who's driven superbly in this race. Out of the pits now. Told of another driver who's doing well tonight. He's actually Farf. This is one of Farf's stronger drives then. He has come to pits very early though on those medium tyres. I am concerned that Farf will not be able to get to the end there. Potstuff then is going to be on a charge now. Let's see where Potstuff can get back up, but I must say that Potstuff is going to be very deflated out there. KD, who is really struggling out there at the moment, is there because all of a sudden Potstuff is not in front of him anymore. And Jamie James on their debut for silver is could be on the cusp of winning his first Grand Prix free on his debut. Goodness gracious me. Very much shades of Max Verstappen, albeit Verstappen has done his debut in the Red Bull rather than his full-blown debut. That's the first bit that came to mind. Now we've got Stars in 5th position with Knowlesy and Smithy 6 and 7. Unfortunately for Stars' point of view, the 2 drivers behind him does not have any penalties whatsoever. Jamie James there, unfortunately, that long start-finish straight is not long enough, unfortunately, for Jamie James, and he's going to have to hold back ever so slightly. Out of the final turn once again there, as Knowlesy sparking away. I don't think he's lighted up a flag there. He's just his titanium skid blocks there is just touching the ground, which is not a surprise because he's a ground effect era cars, but we're in our last few races of ground effect before we got the new F1 rules to be playing by next season, which I'm very much looking forward to, albeit I don't think there was a huge success in Australia. Certainly qualifying they weren't. As I've already moaned about in this stream, I think that they got sorted out qualifying. You shouldn't be, as they say, super clipping. I don't know why I did the finger emotion because no one can see me. But they was doing super clipping in that incredible fast turn 9 and 10, and that has really taken a lot of edge out of qualifying for me. So they've really got to fix that. I think that's quite fundamental because qualifying is meant to be seat of your pants, kind of one lap paces. There is a skill which you do not want cars to be coasting through the fast parts of circuit like 9 and 10 in Australia. So I feel that they might have to address that then. But who knows? Let's see what the rule makers do and all that kind of stuff. However, that is not what's going to happen in the ALR. I'm sure of it. Maybe. Well, who knows then? We don't know when the DLC is going to come out either, because we heard that it was delayed last night then. In the final 10 laps of this Hungarian Grand Prix, as we're ticking along quite nicely but in this one there. So we've got another 10 laps in, and at the moment then the gap at the front is 4/10 of a second. Potstuff was leading this race then, but a issue at the chicane of turn 6 and 7 has he hit the wall, damaged his front wing, came into the pits for an extra stop, and Potstuff now getting fast up then. So unfortunately for Vassier's 0.047 has been eclipsed by Potstuff. Goodness me, I don't think I'll ever see a quicker lap in my lifetime than what Vassier did earlier on then. However, a official lap time has been set by Potstuff, and he will get the point at the moment then for Potstuff. So he's now 8/10 of a second, 6/10 of a second behind Mumford. We're keeping on that battle as well then, as of course Mumford and Firefly Potstuff are now on an alternative strategy, so to speak. Jinner also coming in the pit spot, but Jinner is not doing good stuff indeed for Jinner, because Jinner's not boxed pit and quit, so to speak, has he? He stayed out then and is trying to get a result then, albeit I think that he needed a safety car in this circuit. Safety cars are quite high around here, but we've had no safety cars in gold nor tonight in silver, as I feel that the stewards are now wincing at me. I don't think they've ever winced at me, but they're wincing at me because I'm talking safety cars. We all know about the commentator's curse, don't we? So here comes Potstuff, and now all over the back of Mumford. Mumford's got 3 lap older tires, and then Farf's got 5 laps. Oh, is Mumford then is jigging about there, and not in a good jiggy either. Unfortunately, he's teleporting here down there for a bit like Doctor Who in his telephone box. Out of the final turn now for Potstuff. Sorry, Tardus, goodness me. I got all the Doctor Who fans that's going to be lambasted me in the comments. Up the inside there for Potstuff, through and into 11th position. And then next target is Farfend, 3 seconds down the road. Dynamo Dan and Vesser have also got a scrap going on at the moment now. We'll keep an eye on this then, because I'm very intrigued about how KD can withstand the pressure from Jamie James. And Jamie James has got nothing to lose. Jamie James, of course, is debut tonight. Farfend's got a 3-second penalty. I think that's the first penalty of the event. Then. But yeah, as I was saying, and Katie's got a lot to lose. Jamie James hasn't there. As Vestier as a ghost in there, goodness me, as Diamond Dan is through. And number 2 finish there. Jinner's got the fast up as well, and so we might have a bit of some qualifying laps to play to really sort out the fastest lap point at the end of this one. Katie currently is still in the race there, but Jamie James, as I've mentioned, has got nothing to lose, so he could go for a lunch, and then KD, I think, would jump out of the way. Whether Jamie James does or not remains to be seen. He might be happy a second position, but he certainly has the pace at the moment to win this race. But also, it's where you've got to factor in that Jamie James has a penalty that he picked up a few laps ago, or probably umpteen laps ago now. So he has to pass KD and get 3 seconds at least in front of KD, which I must say is a massive order. That's a tall order indeed. TARDIS! Oh, what did I say? I can't remember what I said now. Goodness me. I don't watch Doctor Who. I must admit though, I did watch a few episodes with David Tennant in there, because that man is quite beautiful indeed, I must say. And all that kind of jazz. But yeah, I've never been a big fan of Doctor Who, yeah, personally. But yeah, there we go. My goodness gracious me, a shock of 17th. That's more viewers that is going to despise me. Goodness gracious me, Sean. I'm not a man who makes friends. Am I really? I'm a final turn then as Katie, currently 6 laps together, withstanding the pressure so far of Jamie James there. But of course, what I just spoke about is Jamie James is a reserve driver. Then he's a super sub in here tonight. So Jamie James will be aiming to win on his debut then, whilst Katie is thinking about taking the lead in the Drivers' Championship. And as it stands at the moment, he is taking the lead in the Drivers' Championship by 1 point, something like that. Give or take them. I haven't got me I had my spreadsheet up, but unfortunately it's all the way over there. I'm all the way over here, and I do not want to bend down because I don't want to hurt my back. Out to the, because I'm old. There's a pot stuff up into a 10th position there. Farf unfortunately wasn't able to fight that one too hard there, because I think Farf's tires are not going to pass an MOT test in the remainder stage of this Grand Prix. I think the Farf is going to probably be turning his attention now to Mumford, who will also be aiming for Farf's 11th position there. So Potstuff might be able to get into the penalty window of Vestier and in Dynamo Dan as well. So Potstuff could get up to 8th position. I can't see him getting him up any harder than that though, unfortunately for Potstuff. I feel that it's a Grand Prix that's been thrown away for Potstuff. This is round 10 of a 17-round World Championship. After tonight then, we've only got 7 more rounds to go. Of course, it starts in the Dutch Grand Prix next week. Got another track which is very difficult to overtake, but I think it's easier to overtake in the Zandvoort than it is here in the Hungary ring. But I feel that it's starting to fall away for Potstuff now, and I'm starting to feel it's a 2-horse race between Tori and KD. And tonight, then, the pressure has been very much on it. It's been very much on there. And what's happened? Donovan Dunn has had a cropper somewhere, and it's dropped off as a Vester and Donovan Dunn come to blows. I think they have, because they both lost time, and both drivers, and Vester is weaving on the start-finish straight there. And I'm not sure if Vester is showing frustration there, or if he's apologising to Donovan Dunn there. We did not see it, so I'm not going to judge them, but Vester has not got much time at all, as Mumford has got past Farf, but Farf is not going to have any of it there. Of course, this is one of Farf's stronger races this season, but unfortunately, I think it's going to end up pointless, as Mumford on the inside into turn them. All contact. Farf is sticking on the inside. Oh my gosh, there. Where's my pillow? I'm going to hide behind it. Mumford has got the position in 11 to 11 fair. I'm wondering if Farf and Mumford might be able to get in front of Dan and Vestier here. I do feel that the medium tires are being stretched to their absolute limit now, unfortunately. I thought you would. At least Billy Piper said it. Day and night, absolutely. No, wait, that's a different song. No, she did sing Day and Night, didn't she? For some reason, I got that other song in there now. Day and Night. Oh my word, absolutely. And a very pretty girl indeed is Billy Piper. Goodness gracious. I'm blushing now. I'm blushing. Oh my word. Oh, I'm all hot and bothered that I'm going to take my slippers off. Katie is still leading the way by 5/10 to a second. Oh dear me, I'm having too much fun on these streams these days, isn't it? Goodness me. When I come back from work, for some reason, I feel in a much more funnier mood than when I used to when I commentated on Sundays. I don't know why, probably because on Sundays I was probably sofa riding, also as well as I was probably bloated from Sunday lunch as well. But goodness gracious me, I feel a bit more of a bit more what am I trying to a bit more naughty. At the inside there goes Potstuff. Potstuff's got so much younger tires. Yellow flag in front of us. What's happened? I don't think anyone's lost positions there. We'll take a look, and I think there might have been a car just getting out of the way in terms of being lapped then. Potstuff still hasn't got past Donovan Dan just yet, but I feel that Potstuff is not going to get any harder in 8th position now, which is 4 points on the board, but that is more points lost for Potstuff, and I feel that it's starting to become a massive hill to climb for Potstuff, and I don't think that Potstuff will be in this championship fight for much longer. If he does not start to take huge chunks out of KD and Tori is kind of on his own here in in fourth position then. And there are the penalty situation moment then. So 3 seconds for second, third, fourth and fifth then. Styles, I think that at the moment then, Tory could be under pressure here from Knowlesy and Smithy Almighty, because Tory, unbeknownst to me, has started to drop back into the clutch of these drivers here. Tory has really struggled tonight, and as it stands, he'll be dropping down into maybe 7th position, which that would be a huge point swing in the Drivers' Championship in the form of KD, who is going to really extend his lead then. And as I mentioned last night then, the battle between Flippy and Medi then was very heated, wasn't it, from as Reflectors makes his way up into 12th position there, as Farfet's come into the pits. Soft tyres there from, I was going to say super soft, but Postov is through, passes Dynamo down then. I've missed it whilst I was watching Farf in his box and stop, but Farfet's going to go for fastest up then, aiming for a second point of the season, a third point of the season there for Farf. I think the Farfet's scored a 10th position and one fastest up. That's how he's got his points so far. Potstov getting wrong-footed there, ever so slightly behind Vessier, as Vessier's having a very trying day out there. Tory is very much under the caution now from Styles, Knowlesy and Smithy. I wonder if Tory's tyres have completely fallen off the cliff, as Corin Pilby once said to Mark Webber. I think it was Corin Pilby, wasn't it, who used to be Mark Webber's engineer, as we go into turn 2. No dice at the moment then. Now back here then with three laps to go. Tory is just about keeping these drivers at bay, but unfortunately for Tory, he's going to lose out to Knowlesy and Smithy. So he knows that Styles has got to get past, and it's very difficult to overtake on this circuit. Then it's now Reflector. Vester is trying to block off Potts. He cannot do it. So Vester trying to Steve down the inside. No dice. Mumford Stephen down the inside of Dynamo Dan, and that could be important. However, Mumford does have very old, worn, medium tyres, which could struggle to get him to the end of this race. Then, as on board with Stars and aiming for fourth position, I think he's going to drop down 2 positions. He's going to drop down 2 positions. Lisa with Knowlesy and Smith Almighty just sat and very happy. Just watch these two fight out there. So, Knowlesy has snuck up. He absolutely has. He's like a wrinkly ninja, is the Knowlesy. It's going very much under, very much in a cloak and dagger there from Knowlesy in 6th position, which is quite fitting as well, because of course that used to be the James Bond car. It still is the James Bond, isn't it? The Aston Martin is still the James Bond car, I believe. Or is it the BMW now? No, the BMW is written the Pierce Brosnan years, wasn't it? Which I must say, I like James Bond with Pierce Brosnan. James Bond, it's quite cheap. I quite like cheap. Goodness me. But as you can tell, I get a lot of calcium in my old body. Styles then, who has now got a overspeed on Tory on the outside here, and Tory then's got to figure the championship. That he is figuring the championship. It's a bag wheels, no damage to the side pod. I do not know, as Knowlesy that is just sitting, watching and waiting in the shadows. I'm sure that's a song. As it stands, and Styles needs to pass Tory to at least get 6th position. And the 2 drivers behind him, Knowlesy and Smith Almighty, have not got any penalties. So from their point of view, they do not need to overtake. And currently, Knowlesy and Smith are looking at 4th and 5th position. Some superb stuff indeed. Lap 34 and 35 in this one. A gap at the front is still about half a second, and there's a massive gap then between Jamie James and Lewis Riley. 15 seconds out. Then there's another almost 7-second buffer between Riley and Tory. It's great to see Riley back on the podium as well. It's been a difficult couple of races then for Riley. He hasn't been on the podium since his Grand Prix win in the Chinese Grand Prix a few races ago, back in round 2 then. So Riley back to his absolute best then. I might be too little too late in terms of fighting for a championship this season, but certainly it's all about building bridges and potentially for an assault on next season. You see in the background there, that just shows how far in front the front 2 drivers are then, because you see in the background there of KD and Jamie James fighting for position. And now Stars once again is gaining. Tory going to defend the outside there. Well, Stars is certainly thinking about it then, but I'm wondering if Stars is going to be happy at this 6th position or 7th. It will always be the Aston, says Serious Mushroom. I'm sure they have BMW. Didn't they have the BMW M3 series or something like that in the Pierce Brosnan films? Or am I just talking absolute balderdash? I probably am, but there you go then. But I was a big fan of Pierce Brosnan. There's Farfair steams past the Real Fig. Whoa, Real Fig then, goodness me. Real Fig last lap, luckily for Real Fig, so he's not going to need those tyres anymore. And KD, then goodness me, this has been an absolute test of the metal for KD. And not only that though, he has resisted the attack from both Potstuff and with Tori getting a penalty, which is crucial. And that means that KD is going to win the Hungarian Grand Prix and is now back into the lead of the Drivers' Championship as well for KD. That is a perfect race. You couldn't get better than that for the McLaren Mercedes driver. Back in the lead of the championship. His closest championship rival, Tori, having a difficult qualifying, a difficult race, and is going to drop down into 7th position, I believe, when it's all said and done. My goodness gracious me. But KD then very much back on top of the podium. That's his 3rd Grand Prix win in 10 races this season for KD. And he's going to be punching his air with delight, punching the air with delight. Potstuff, what a shame! Potstuff aiming to be the 3rd Grand Prix winner of the season, but instead KD has taken his 3rd Grand Prix winner of the season. But Tori is going to be frustrated, down in 8th position for Tori. Then of course that extra penalty has cost him an extra. It's cost him an extra position as well, and he's gone from 6 points to 4 points as well now. Goodness me, that is a big swing in the Drivers' Championship. So Tori is going to have to get really consistent now for the remainder of this championship, or he's going to need KD to have a off event then. In 10 starts for KD this season, he's been on the podium 6 times, so it's very rare for KD to have an off event there, but KD punches the air with delight. He is the leader in the Drivers' Championship once again. And absolutely superb stuff indeed. Oh, and the Lotus. Is that the one that goes underwater? Tomorrow Never Dies 7 Series BMW, I think that. Z3 was used in 1-2. Yes, I knew it was, and so I believe you, Scooby Stew. Much more credibility than that Series Smash. Goodness gracious me. I knew I was right about the BMW. I wasn't talking absolute boulder dash there. Good stuff indeed then. Oof, my word. I've got to say, well, we need to gesture about it. Oh gosh, I'm meant to be looking at the final classification from the Hungarian Grand Prix. KD, his 3rd win of the season. Jeremy James on his debut, a great result then. His 1st podium on his 1st start, equaling Jacques Villeneuve. Fantastic. Back in 96. Riley back on the podium as well in 3rd position. Knowlesy, great job from 4th position. And Smithfield Mighty to 5th as well. Styles from 14th to 6th. Potstuff, what a shame there, down into 7th. 8th position for Tori, 9th for Vessier. Mumford getting the final point in 10th position. Diamond down outside the points. Reflection 12th, Real Fig 13th, Far 14th, Jenner gets the fast 15th with Liam 16th. Retirements was Prudish Medal and Nigel after the Grand Prix. Driver of the day, driver of the day then I think, let's give it to Styles. Styles driver of the day. Superb stuff indeed then from 14th to 6th. Great stuff and all that kind of jazz. My God. Oh, let me get me right screen up. That's fantastic. As I've got 2 drivers that are willing to talk to me for once. Fantastic indeed then. Let's come to KD first then. KD, what a drive today then. And I would say this is probably one of the more difficult races for you to win this season then. With Potstuff leading most of the way then. And Tori, though, having an issue as well then. So how difficult is it to come across the line to win this race today?
I mean, it was a bit challenging, I won't lie. I'm a bit miffed myself during qualifying because I was 2 tenths down after like the first 2 sectors. I made up all the time back up, but it just wasn't enough to get pole. And I missed up like 2,000. I'm like, oh man, I'm so close. But in the race, I mean, I had a bit of a iffy start. I lost out to Jamie at the start, or Jamie at the start, whatever his name is, Jamie James. Anyway, yeah, I lost to him at the start. I kind of made a little bit of mistakes. I had 2 warnings after like 7 laps, so I had to be extremely careful. Otherwise, I would have got a penalty. And it was just really difficult to overtake, obviously, with Hungary because dirty air, the track's so close. Well, close, and it's a short track. It's the reason why it's called Monaco without walls. So the only way I could get by them, was to try to box an undercut, which I did get one of them, which was Jamie, but I couldn't get Potstuff until maybe the next lap where I got him with DRS. And then, yeah, I had a bit of a tussle between me and Potstuff. Though it was a big shame though that he lost it at the chicane. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. I'm like, it just really put a sparkle in my eyes seeing that. But I mean, just for the getting the lead's sake, but obviously for his sake, it probably was really frustrating. But I, I think I did well overall. I didn't make any more mistakes after my first stint, and then yeah, the rest was history.
It certainly was, and of course, Jamie James also like keeping you honest for the final couple of laps as well. With Jamie James and not in the championship fight, then was you nervous that Jamie James might have a sniff down the inside there, maybe a wild lunge there, and would you have had to jump out the way if that happened?
If it was the case of him like close to overtake me, then yes, I wouldn't care because I didn't have a penalty and he did, so it didn't matter overall. But I mean, he didn't go for a lunge because I would assume the derriere was just quite a bit for him, which is understandable because yeah, the derriere is just horrific around Hungary when you're that close to the car behind and everything. But that was just pretty much all I had to do, and it's probably this. I think all my wins so far have been one-on-ones. I had Mad Max at Miami, I had Tori at Spain, all of them by less than a second, and now Jamie, even though he had a penalty, but it was still another one-on-one race that I had to fight for the win.
Absolutely, and goodness me, you lost the lead in the championship last week, and now you've gained it back straight away. You must have
Hmm.
taken that personally by the looks of things.
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course I was frustrated after what happened at Spa. It was frustrating to lose out just because of the mistakes I made, and I had a little bit of lack of pace towards the end of my first stint at Spa. But that's in the past now. I mean, what matters now is that I won at Hungary, and we still got a bit of a long championship still to go.
Absolutely. Well done today, KD. Your third win of the season. Supreme stuff indeed. And an absolutely incredible battle between yourself and Jamie James, who came second today. Welcome to the podium, Jamie. Goodness gracious me, then. Absolutely superb debut here tonight in silver. Before we get into the race itself, Ben, with KD leading the race and you in second today, was you tempted about going for a wild dive bomb, or was you more concerned about getting this podium today?
First of all, well done, KD. Drove very well and very calmly. No, I think once I'd picked the penalty up, even when it was a three-way fight, I think my job was just to get podium secured, so just get away from fourth as quickly as I can. Luckily, later in the race, pretty much everybody behind me did end up getting a penalty, so it made it a lot easier. Um, so yeah, but no, I was fair play to KD. I just couldn't, like I say, out the last corner is very hard to get the traction. But I was never going to put a move on him because I was only waiting for him to either make a mistake or get a 3 second penalty himself, and then I would have tried it. But other than that, no, good. I enjoyed it. Very good race.
That's great to hear. And with this race as well, it's very much about a strategical element. Then this race is very difficult to actually race against your opponent tonight. In terms of strategy calls, was there anything you could have done differently, maybe to get the Grand Prix win today? In terms of pitting earlier, pitting later, was there anything you could have done to adjust your tire strategy today?
No, I think KD played it right. I think the undercut is strong. I think me and Potts. I think that's his name, Potts, Hot Potts. We were struggling on that lap after KD pitted. We were sliding all over the place, so I wasn't really surprised when KD came past me. Just missed out on Potts. Maybe I could have gone a lap earlier. I wasn't sure exactly which lap to pit. So yeah, KD just played a strategic masterclass, as you would call it. Um, I did think about two stop very late on, but just because the gap wasn't big enough behind, I didn't risk it, and I didn't want to risk any damage in battling behind either.
And it's a long run down into turn one. It's very easy to lose your front wing into turn one, and it also got very cozy between yourself and a couple of the other drivers. Said, do you plan going down into turn one, especially on a race like this? Can you plan it, or is it just kind of instinct?
Well, I mean, I was a spectator for one of the moves. I don't know if it was KD on Potsy just after the pit stops. I think where he looked a long way back, but he still sent it. And fair play. There was a little bit of argy bargy, but I think it well, I don't want to say it's clean till I've seen replay, so I'm not going to comment. But I think it is more of a just make sure you. I think after the last corner, if you're within 5 tenths, you've got a good shout of being close into the braking zone, and then it is just a case of being confident on the brakes and hoping that your fellow racer is respectful, shall I say.
That's why I'm not allowed to race. Well done today, James. Brilliant job as well. Welcome to silver, your first podium on your first start. Fantastic.
Thank you very much. Thank
And
you.
then let's come to Riley. Of course, your first podium since your Grand Prix win in the Chinese Grand Prix. Welcome back to the rostrum, Riley.
Well, thank you. I'm actually surprised to be on the podium today, because Hungary was one of them tracks which I I did not expect to be as competitive as I was around here. But I think obviously if pot stuff wouldn't, I don't know what obviously happened to him, but I think obviously if he didn't make like spin and whatnot, whatever happened to him, that he would have been on the podium, because on the first stint I was pushing like crazy to keep up with the top three, and I literally just could not keep up. They were miles ahead of me, but I was best of the rest really. It would have been P4, but I'll take the P3 due to the incident ahead.
Oh, absolutely. Take what you can. Of course, last time I spoke to you when he was on the podium, we won the Chinese Grand Prix after round 2. And certainly the championship looks a little different to what it was now. How has your season been from your point of view? Is it disappointment? Is it, are you happy about your first win? Or is it just a bit of a balance? How are you feeling about this season so far as we're just over half distance?
I'd say I've struggled a little bit this season. It obviously I had a bit of high expectations after China, and it's not quite gone to plan. But it's nice to get the podium today, because I just needed that good result. I needed to get some good points on the board, because compared to some of the other drivers around me in the championship recently, I've not been as consistent. So it's nice to get a good load of points on the board. And there's some tracks coming up next that I'm quite looking forward to, and I should be more competitive round. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next upcoming rounds.
Old school, I like it. And of course, towards the end of the race, he was kind of at no man's land then. Of course, he was quite far in front of the battling quartet behind you, and in front of you, the top duo was also fighting as well. How difficult was it to keep your concentration then? Because a man like myself, I probably would have gone into the wall if I was on my own. But how did you keep your concentration in the last few laps around this race tonight?
It Well, it was one of the longest races that I can remember doing. I I had absolutely no one around me on that second stint. It was quite it was yeah, it was definitely the longest race I've done, probably. I'd definitely say so, due to just not really having no one around me. I was just looking after my tyres really. I weren't really pushing. That did help me with the clean air, because obviously being in dirty air really wears your tyres out. So it was nice to have that clean air just to look after them, bring it home to the end. But yeah.
Really good stuff today. Well done, Riley, your second podium of the season. Jamie James making his debut and getting a second position, and KD getting his first Grand Prix win of the season, and takes the lead in the Drivers' Championship. I've been outvoted for driver of the day. It has gone to Smithy, and goodness me, I need to sit down. Right then, that is it for Silver tonight. Tomorrow night, it is Bronze Era. Knowles is going to take you through the action, which is going to be an absolute thriller. I cannot wait for that one there. R2B has got a Grand Prix win over Tom Huffy in second position, with Jay Hinks having a horror show of a week last week, has dropped down to third position. Kaidao 81 points further adrift, then. It's starting to look like the battle between R2B and Huffy in the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull also leads the way with Alpine in second position. That is it for me. I'm now going to hibernate until next Monday. Have a great week, everyone. See you then.